Last thing is resources. So there's lots of courses, books on normal birth and choices.
There are a lot of resources for information out there, and I think one of the ones that I like to recommend to women who are particularly keen to avoid intervention or epidurals and those sorts of things is a book actually written by an Australian midwife. So it's called Birth Skills by Juju Sundin. She's over in I think in Sydney, and she has a wonderful book that talks through all of the different things that you might be able to draw on to help you get through the labour, and to prepare and to know what your options are going to be and how you can try and manage things. So, I think that's a really, really good resource for anybody who is hoping to avoid an epidural. Or even for women who just want to be able to have the tools in place to be able to help them cope with whatever happens during their labour, regardless of how things go. So
yes, and knowledge is power, as they say.
Absolutely.
And sometimes, if you've been an engineer or a lawyer, should you understand what the body does in labour? Like, should you just know that? Or is it something maybe that you need to get a little bit more information on to help you to feel comfortable with a bit of, you don't have to understand it like we do, but just to have an understanding of how does all of these things changes and why might I feel something. There's another new book by Millie Hill, which is the Positive Birth book, and we'll have information again for you to have a look at. And it's really, a lot of these resources are about supporting you to understand what's happening and what can I do about it, or what might be helpful, rather than a prescriptive process of do this and then this happens. Because
absolutely, we just don't want people to go into it blind. It's good to have information to know what you can do.
Yes.
And the midwives will try and give you as much information as possible while you're there, but knowing beforehand, okay, these are the things that might work for me, this is what I can ask for, can sometimes be really useful.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and it's certainly a different area, and for a lot of people, they may have been healthy and fit their whole life to go into hospital and have, monitoring and things happen to them is so far from what they've experienced that, sometimes that takes, they might be better prepared if they've done some reading, or they think, oh, look, I trust Anneliese, she knows what she's doing, so I'm just going to go with that.
Yeah.
Different people.
And some people choose to do things that way, and that's fine, but I think, everyone's different, and it's good to have information if you need it, so.
Absolutely. Oh, well, that was a lot to talk about, wasn't it?
There's a lot to do in pregnancy. Yes.
There is. And, just to know those little tidbits of information at this point in your pregnancy, so that hopefully this next few months and that birth can be a lot easier, and to know that where your choices sit and what's normal as well is important. But thank you, Anneliese, for coming along. That was really helpful. Thank you.